was a really nice song. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Let's do this. We have our first hunt of the Gorm coming up. So, Gorm, first of all, I, I, I think this was the first expansion. I could be wrong. Maybe Manhunter. This was a very early expansion in the game's history. And it's widely regarded still to this day as one of the best. Thematically, it's such a cool monster. It's a giant baby, and it acts like a baby. Like it throws tantrums, it throws up, and like there's some interesting stuff later on in the game with how you deal with it. There's also a really cool element of as you fight higher levels of the Gorm, you're not just fighting stronger Gorms. You're actually fighting the Gorm at different points in its life cycle. Very, very cool. Oh, we have monsters invading from outside. Darby is doing his best. So some cool stuff there. And then just mechanically, it's a really cool fight. Has amazing gear. Like it for anybody who is interested in this game. It's probably like the best investment you can make. First thing, get yourself a Gorm. Like best first expansion. Beyond that, Slenderman is highly recommended just so you don't have to deal with the Kingsman. And then you get into like some of the pricier expansions. Black Knight is really good. Comes with a mini campaign, replaces the hand, and then Sunstalker and Dragon Knight both come with full campaigns, which win or lose, we're going to do one of those campaigns next. They replace the Phoenix, who is also like a problematic enemy to go up against. So yeah, Gorm number one. I would say Slenderman number two, and then you can start looking and see what kind of catches your eye. But let's get into it. Let's kick off our first hunt phase of the campaign. First settlement phase went well. So as a reminder, we are coming out with Blaze, who has what little armor we were able to make. Hilda is returning. Our new survivor, Darren. All three of them with bone blades. And then Dimitri is coming along with the bone darts. So let's see who is going first in our hunt phase. We've got Dimitri. Oh, first let's read the little lore snippet. Oh, that's not going well for Urza there. One day, great woe fell upon the settlement. Unrelenting storms raged overhead. Out of the squall, a giant beast came to gobble up the strongest and most beautiful, then wandered back into the darkness with a lonesome cry, searching for a mate. Poor, poor little Gorm. Aside from that, pretty much in line with the White Lion stat-wise, so nothing special there. But this also shows why that survival of the fittest year one, such a huge help, because just going from the prologue to year one, toughness goes up by 2. So survival of the fittest offsets half of that difference on its own, plus getting some actual weapons helps. Anyway, Dimitri, let's unveil our first hunt event. Itchy Palms. The survivors come across a field of huge boulders worn on all sides with deep, smooth grooves. If any survivor has 3+ understanding, that doesn't matter. They realize Gorm use these stones to scratch their enormous, delicate palms. Armed with these fresh tracks, they may hasten their quarry, skipping the next hunt space. If this moves the survivor onto the monster space, they ambush the monster. That's cool. Roll a random hunt event if nobody has 3+. That is 82. Consuming grass. Vibrant green grass grows in patches ahead of the survivors. Closer inspection of the delicate leaves reveals they are as sharp as any blade. Each survivor rolls 1d10. The lowest scoring survivor becomes the straggler. As the survivors carefully pick their way past the verdant hazards, the straggler stumbles into the brush. Okay, so we'll start with Dimitri. Gets a 7. Blaze gets a 5. Hilda gets a 7. And Darren gets a 9. So Blaze is the straggler. So Blaze rolls a d10. 2 doesn't sound great. Well, it's better than 1. You fall but manage to interpose something between the grass and your bare skin. Either archive 1 gear of your choice from your gear grid to protect yourself, or treat this result as if you rolled a 1. You land in the grass patch. As you climb to your feet, you realize it's too late. The parts of your body that touched the ground have sprouted with sharp blades of grass. Any attempt to remove them only spreads them further over your body. During the showdown, you are never a threat. At the end of the showdown, your body blossoms into a whirl of immaculate green grass and dead. All right, that's cool, but we're not going to do that. She needs to archive something. I think we archive the cloth. Boo. It's between the cloth and the founding stone. I mean, Stone Noses is easy to replace, but since she's hopefully going to be our main tank, she kind of needs those bonuses. Because Stone Noses only happens once the showdown starts, so the survival and insanity have not taken effect yet. Okay, so moving on. Blaze is next up. Morning Bull. You approach the fresh corpse of a gorm. The survivors must choose to steer clear or go near. Steer clear. The survivors hear a mournful cry, raising their backs, suffer 3 brain event damage. Oof. Another gorm charges out of the darkness, wailing mournfully. The survivors are ambushed. Starts showdown immediately. Gorm gains +1 damage token. All right, so we will just take the brain event damage, I think. Since it's event damage, we don't have to roll on the brain trauma table. So I think starting the fight with no armor, essentially, and it getting a +1 damage token and ambush, that's probably bad. So I think we're just going to give everybody their brain wounds. This might be the wrong decision, but it's what we got. Next up, Hilda gets the... Okay, let's move you out of the way there, buddy, because you're going to be in the way. Yep, just a regular random hunt event. So yes, there are 1 or 2 actual non-random hunt event cards in here from expansions that I have. So it's worth flipping those now. So if you remember in campaign 1, we didn't because they were all going to be random hunt events, but now there's the possibility that there's other stuff in there. 73. Golden Ember. The way forward is blocked by a dense gold-flecked smoke. If the survivors have a final lantern, well, we don't. The survivors may push ahead and brave the smoke. If they do, each survivor gains +1 courage, and the event revealer rolls a d10. If they don't, we must roll again. 1 to 5, everybody gets a random disorder. 6+. They breathe through the rags, take turns peeking out for orientation somewhere deep within the smoke. Survivors carefully descend into the crater, finding the ruins of a settlement surrounded by a ring of skulls. The settlement is absolutely demolished, and almost everything has been ground to powder from some tremendous force. The skulls face away from the ruins. In each gaping mouth, a golden ember spews smoke. The sight is haunting. Each survivor suffers 1d10 brain event damage and gains 1 random disorder. All right, so this is a whole thing. Wow. At this point in the campaign, I don't think it's worth doing all this because, like, that's a lot of rolls, and like, we can get 2 endeavors. We can find a Twilight Sword. That's cool. Everybody gets +1 courage. I do have survival of the fittest rerolls. Do we go for it? Everybody's going to get a disorder, though. Like, if we roll a 1 to 5, everybody gets a disorder. If we roll a 6+, everybody gets a disorder. I think we just let it pass. And we roll another event. I would like to do it, but not on our first hunt phase. 26. Pit. Watch this be a tremendous mistake now. The ground beneath the event revealer's feet gives way, and they plummet into a pit below. The event revealer rolls a d10. If another survivor has a whip, we do not. If the event revealer has tumble, they do not. A 5. You land at the bottom with a loud thud, suffer 2 event damage to a random hit location, and archive all fragile gear in your gear grid. Bone Blade is frail. It is not fragile. All right, 2 damage. Oh, God. Yeah, it's not worth re-rolling that. 2 damage to the body is unfortunate. All right, so our main tank is not very tanky for this fight. We just got to hope we can burn this Gorm down. But thankfully that hunt phase did not go great. But we do get to start the showdown. Oh boy. All right, we got some grass. That's nice. All right, so for the Gorm's Showdown, it always starts with 2 tall grass in these positions. And then we get to draw 2 randoms. Looks like we got some pillars and some more grass, so that's going to be helpful. And then the survivors start. So 3 from the bottom and then just along. Okay. So we'll probably put a grass over here so that we can start in the grass. And then pillars, I usually just put the pillars out of the way because they just get in the way more often than they help. So let's see here. Let me just kind of set up my survivors here so I know like this is my starting area. Let's just chuck these off to the side. So with tall grass, has to be 4 spaces away from all other tall grass. These 2 are always there, so we've got 1 there is probably good. And then just put this one over here. That's fine. So Blaze, you're still theoretically our main tank. So I'm going to start you there. And then everybody else just kind of get yourselves in that area. So I know the Gorm has like some AoE stuff, but I don't quite remember the splash on it. Actually, let's give a little bit of space. So here's all we know about the Gorm so that we can set up our tactics. On the back side of the card. So has no special abilities in play at the start, so it's a fairly simple fight. Instinct, illuminate the Gorm's bulb, increases in intensity, suddenly making the darkness light. Until the end of the next round, all survivors are now threats, even if they are knocked down. Or used an effect that says otherwise. Insane survivors are thrown into wild fits and are knocked down. So, not great, but not the worst instinct. And its basic action, closest threat facing in range, 2 speed, 2 accuracy, 1 damage. So, basically a lion. Nothing else really special there. Whoops. The special stuff comes in here, and I don't really remember everything the Gorm does, so we're going to figure it out together. I think I'm okay with this starting configuration. All right, we'll just figure it out. Let's go. Maw Arm Toss, random threat in range. All right, well, that's a great way to start. It is poor Darren. Oh, God, that was terrible. Oh, God. I've made a mistake. Oh, boy. All right. Should have spread out a bit more at the start. Starting with the target, make a separate attack against each survivor adjacent to the Gorm. Although I think I would have spread out here and here, so I don't think it really would have helped. But we're going to get some collision happening most likely. All right, so accuracy 3, because everybody has their natural evasion, thankfully. So hopefully we're probably going to get some dodges in here, I think. Well, they both hit, so that doesn't help. Body and head. All right, well, Darren... Oh, also, Darren should have 1 survival. And then Blaze gets 1 survival and 1 insanity from the Stone Nose. All right, so Darren, let's... it's not really... We'll take that head wound now, because he's going to be knocked down anyway. Yeah, so we'll just tank that damage for now. And then he would be knocked back 5, but he doesn't get knocked back, so he just suffers collision. I think they both end up taking a damage. Let me double check on that. When a monster moves through a space occupied by a survivor, if a monster ends its movement, if a survivor is knocked back into impassable terrain, survivor suffers knockback into another survivor. Complete the knockback movement normally. Both survivors suffer collision at the end of the knockback. So, okay. So that's actually a kind of good thing. I mean, it's not a great thing. So basically, they both kind of get chucked over. It was 5, right? Yeah. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then they both get knocked down, but they do not suffer damage. So thankfully that means Dimitri is now out of range of the attack. So we'll take that. But Hilda still has an attack coming her way. Also both hits. Oops, that's the wrong one. Leg and waist, she'll take those. And then she will also suffer a knockback 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But she will not be knocked down. All right, well, that could have gone better. I guess it could have gone worse. But yeah, good. That's why I hate these pillars. Honestly, I should have put them even farther away. Because getting knocked back into a pillar now has also drawbacks. But yeah, we don't suffer damage for colliding with other survivor. Yeah, we're good. All right, do we want to try to... No, we don't have enough survival to start standing everybody up. Kind of just got to deal. But I guess Blaze will... 2, 3, 4... So with her Bone Blade, she will be hitting on 5s. That is 1 hit. Aha, here's where we get vomit. All right, so the Gorm is toughness 8. Bone Blade is strength 2. Blaze is strength 1, so we're looking for a 5 to wound. Failed to wound, but that means Retch does not happen. Hilda, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She can get in there, so we'll do it. Hitting on 6s. 2 hits. Failure is a Retch. That's fine. Oh no, move 2 spaces backwards. Uh-oh. That would be bad. That would also be bad. So it's basically going to be the same result either way as far as Blaze is concerned. No, Retch is worse. All right, so we're going to go with Mammoth Skull and actually hope we wound. Well, I mean, we're always hoping we wound. That is a wound. Okay. So turn the Gorm to face the opposite board edge. So I'm guessing that's this way, opposite from her. And full move forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just barely avoids crushing the boys. Which now means this is out of range. All right, so standing in the Gorm's blind spot is dangerous because of Retch. I knew he had the AoE. I'd forgotten about the backstep. So we kind of just want to stay to his flanks. So we're treating it like a mammoth, right? Just like how cavemen would have hunted them with spears. Stay to the sides. Hi, Amelia. We're not in a great spot. The hunt went poorly. Turn 1 of this fight could have gone better, but we're recollecting. We're doing it. We had an acceptable prologue, a really good first settlement phase. Well, not a really good one, but better than last time. And now we're hunting a new creature. All right, so it's off to the Gorm's turn. Hiccup, furthest survivor in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's either Hilda or Blaze. Can we game this? We certainly can. Okay. Wait a second. So we target the furthest survivor in range. We don't actually move. That's weird. Yeah, that's how that works. I guess that just determines what direction it's facing when it does the retch. Okay. I mean, we'll figure it out. So it's targeting either Blaze or Hilda. Doesn't really make a difference. Or does it? All right, we can game this. And we're not. So if we target Hilda, that's the thing. Like, it's not a range. Like, it's not actually doing an attack. So furthest survivor in range would be either Blaze or Hilda, but it's not actually attacking either of them. I think it's just turning to face one of them and then doing stuff. Let me, again, double check some rules here. I always forget the exact rules of collision. Yeah, so they're not going to take any damage from the collision. Okay, yeah, this is actually going to work out in our favors. Yeah, so the card is just determining basically what direction it's facing when it does all of this other stuff. That's how I'm interpreting this. So roll 1d10 for each adjacent survivor. On a result of 4+, the survivor is knocked down. Well, the only adjacent survivors are already knocked down. And then it performs Retch. Move the Gorm 2 spaces backwards, which means it's going to end here, which means it's going to collide with Darren and Dimitri, which means they would be knocked down, but they are already knocked down. But to our advantage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they get knocked back. Which means they'll be out of the vomit zone. So, fairly certain I did all that correctly. So he'll only go back 1, because he can't go back 2. Excuse me. He'll stop at the board edge. And then Retch actually won't hit anybody. So if we'd done it the other way, it would have backed up this way, but then it would have retched all over Darren and Dimitri. So since we had our choice of targets, we chose Blaze. And since Blaze is not on a cardinal direction, we could kind of choose which way it faces. But we do get to see something that they added into the simulator. Here's an animation for Retch. Oh, there's not? Blah. All right, and then this goes back on top of the AI deck. So remember, the Gorm, just a big baby. Just a little baby. So he does things that little babies do, like vomit randomly. I'm looking at you, cat. All right, so now we get to stand back up. All right. So what we can do, gonna have Dimitri go first. This is range 6, right? Yeah. Dimitri's gonna scoot. Throw his bone dart. Hitting on a 7. Hits. On the mammoth tail. If you're attacking from the Gorm's flank, unfortunately we are not. So yeah, that's what I said before. Like, we want to be on the Gorm's sides. In front is always a bad idea, and in back means we're likely to get stepped on if it retches. So, yeah. Learning the strategies. Okay, so bone darts hit like a truck. 3 strength on the weapon, 1 strength on Dimitri. So we're wounding on a 4. We wound. So hiccup goes away. Oh, goodness. There we go. And now we can just kind of have everybody close the distance. Darren might be the only one to actually be able to get an attack in. But that's fine. He'll miss anyway. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Hilda can't get into range, so she'll just get close. Same with Blaze. 2, 3, 4, 5. Blaze will Rawhide Headband, though. So we have that option. So we get to see what the next attacks are. A mood. That's never great. Yes, it does. It should be down to 9 now. Okay, thank you. Because the way I have my my screen set up, my game capture is actually really small on the screen, so I can't see the exact numbers. When a survivor ends their act in the blind spot, if they have any armor points at the legs location. Okay, so that's fine. We just won't end our act in the blind spot, which we don't want to anyway. And then if the Gorm is defeated with the card in play, we get ammonia for free. Yeah, why wouldn't we do this? And then we have eat and run, random threat facing in range. This could be Dimitri. He's in the grass, though. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, the wounds go down. That is correct. Yep, I think that's an acceptable way to play it. So we will do the turn, and we will draw Posturing Piss. So we'll draw another AI card. So again, Gorm asserts its dominance over challenging survivor. When a survivor ends their act in the Gorm's blind spot, if they have any armor points at the legs location, reduce them to 0. Otherwise, they suffer 1 damage to that location. That's fine. We just won't do that. And then if the Gorm is defeated when the card is in play, we get ammonia. So we get to draw the next card, which we already know is Eat and Run. Random threat facing in range. Dimitri is the only one in facing. So we will just scoot our little friend over this way. Two speed, 2 accuracy. Although with the grass and natural evasion, that becomes 5. Of course they both hit. So we're definitely going to dodge. Oh, Dimitri doesn't have survival. Shoot. This isn't going great, team. Oh, come on. All right, so 2 damage each to the hands and the legs. does Dimitri have leg armor? That doesn't sound right. This game is just constant panic. If the attack dealt damage more than once, it sure did. Full move the Gorm forward in a straight line and perform grab. Wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Dimitri ends up over here. He'll take another damage to the body. And that also means Blaze was knocked down. Okay. Oh, we need to start dealing damage, guys. I don't want to spend my small amounts of survival on encourage. 2, 3, 4, 5. We can at least get Hilda in. Come on, Hilda. You suck. Yeah, Darren can't get in, so he'll just get to a semi-safe location. Actually, it would make better sense to stop Hilda there for reasons. And I think we just let that roll. All right, let's see what happens next. Body check, random survivor in range. Okay, well that can be literally anybody. It is Blaze. All right, this one's not so bad. So that will hit on a 4 for her, correct? Does hit. Knockback 7. I think we need to take that just because we don't have a lot of survival. We need to save it for like a more critical time. So she'll take 1 damage to her body, which is a heavy, which would knock her down, but she's already like double knocked down here. So that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. That's not so bad. So, end of the monster's turn. Dimitri stands up. And despite the fact she was just knocked down, Blaze stands up because you can't be double knocked down. She was actually triple knocked down, but it still works out that way. All right. Now we can start dealing damage, team. Now we can do the thing. I guess Hilda's already in position. Yeah, Hilda's already in position, so she'll just do it. 1 hit, all right. The Mammoth Crowded Fangs. If you attack from the Gorm's flank, we are in the flank. +2 strength. So that means we need, what was it? 2, 3, 5. So we need a 3 to wound. We got it. Nothing else of note. Darren, you can step up. And do absolutely nothing. Dimitri, why don't you just get to a safe spot and throw your dart and accomplish nothing. Cool. Blaze, rawhide headband before you move. This looks bad. That is bad. Okay, so we don't want that one. Oh, also, we have another wound because of the posturing piss in play. So that is a card out of the deck, even though it doesn't go into the wound or the discard pile. It's still one less action it has available. All right, so we're definitely doing whatever this is. That's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just get Blaze into the action. All right, so Wallop, closest threat in field of view in range. That's going to be either Hilda or Darren. Hilda is definitely the better option. So hitting on, whoopsie, hitting on 3. 2 hits. Leg and hands. She can take both of those. Well, she could take the hands. I think she'll dodge the legs. So that would bring her up to heavy, and I kind of want as many people operational as possible now. So we will have Hilda come around here. Hilda, you've been doing work. I'm also not keeping track of who's doing wounds for proficiency purposes. Like, not everybody's taking sword proficiency anyway. I know Hilda definitely has. I don't remember. All right, well, that didn't do anything. Darren. Yeah, I think that's correct. I don't think Blaze or Darren have actually done anything terribly useful. Yes, playing solo. All right, we get 1 hit to the hand. So 5 to wound. I will take that. Why is Wallop here? What did I do? Yeah, that should be there. Okay, I forgot to move it over. So Thunderfoot we already knew was the other one, so that one goes away. Got it. Sorry, folks. Yeah, this game is a lot of cognitive load for one person. Did I actually roll to wound that? I'm trying to remember now. I'm pretty sure I did. If I did not, please chime in and let me know, but I think I did. Got a little distracted by everything going on and realizing I'd messed up the AI pile. But anyway, Blaze, get into the grass there. Gets 1 hit. So the Fluorescent Lure. Death Blow is not going to be relevant. She does wound, though. All right, so we've gotten through the deck. There's some not great cards in there. Arya loves sitting at the window, but I don't think she's ever tried to get out. The screen is an impenetrable force field to her. So yeah, Death Blow does not matter. Okay, so all that's left is for Dimitri to throw his dart. And he hits. Nice. And he will be wounding on a 4. Oh, your cat is the most graceful being. Arya's clumsy, but I don't think she's that bad. Wretch would be not great, but okay. But let's just not worry about that. Dimitri needs a 4 to wound. And he gets it. Oh, wrong button. Come on, get it together. Okay, not a bad round. Not a bad round. We're stabilizing. A little worried about the trap now, though, because we're getting through the deck. And I don't remember what the Gorm trap does. All right, we've got eat and run. Oh yeah, we'll have completely forgotten about all of the previous failures. Those didn't happen. Cats don't make mistakes. Random threat facing in range is nobody. Closest threat in field of view could be anyone. We will choose Blaze. Well, anyone except Dimitri. All right. So this will hit on 5s. 6s. +2 for the grass and +2 for her natural evasion. Am I? What rule did I forget? Please tell me. Please, Pizza Maid. Enlighten me with what rule I forgot. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway. 2 misses. All right. Cool. Things are turning around. All right. First up, let's get Blaze out of the front facing. You know what? Fair. These? Anyway, we got to roll to attack. Goodness. 1 hit. Probably should have got them out of the way first. I will. Of course you are. Because Blaze is using the Urza model. You always root for whoever's using the Urza model. Yeah, I was so worried about Blaze standing in the front, I forgot to account for the people standing in the back. We need a 5 to wound, and I actually would be okay with failing. We did not fail. So I will be content with dealing a wound. So monster will take 2 steps back, which means they will 3, 4, 5 go flying away. Oh no, actually they won't go that direction. Or will they? Yeah, because he'll end here. So they'll just go shooting out to the side. That's fine. Take a step back. So for anybody who missed it the first time, we have special animations for Wretch. Oh, that's cool. All right, so it automatically does all that stuff too. Interesting. So they've been working on adding some automations into the simulator, and that's one I did not know. I thought it was just the animation. I didn't know it actually automated the whole thing. I'll have to remember that for next time. So anyway, yeah, Blaze gets vomited on. So she will take 1 damage to a random hit location, ignoring armor. Ugh. To her waist. Well, she didn't have armor on her waist anyway. So Darren and Hilda. Again, I don't think it's worth spending the survival right now to stand them up. But what we will do is we'll get Dimitri out of the blind spot, because that's not a good place to be against the Gorm. I think he's well within range here. And he'll miss anyway. All right, back around to our friend. With body check, random survivor in range is anybody. And it will be Darren. Oh, only 1 speed. 1 damage. We'll see what location we roll. To the head. Yeah, we're definitely dodging that one. So even though he's knocked down, he can still dodge, which is a good thing. So nothing else happens. Okay. Everybody can stand up. Stand up. All right, let's finish this guy off, huh? That sounds doable. 4, 5. Oh, not with 2 misses, Darren. Oh, no. Hilda, I don't think you can get in there. So we'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get you to a reasonable location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dimitri is still in range. Neat. Good turn, team. It's okay. It's all about the P. It's all about the P. Eat and run. I hate this one. Random threat facing in range is nobody. Closest threat in field of view. Either Darren or Blaze. Darren is in the grass. Blaze is the more valuable of the 2. So we will choose Darren. All right. So this will hit on 5s? Yeah, 5s. Oh, yeah, so Darren was definitely the better choice. 2 hits anyway. Neat. Oh, Darren. Darren, you ain't going to make it, buddy. 2 damage to the waist and the head. All right, so it's a light wound on his waist, but it's a severe injury on his head. I know Pizza hates it when I do this, but I'm doing it. 8! All right. That's acceptable. Concussion. Brain is scrambled like an egg, gained a random disorder, and a bleeding token. That's fine. That's fine. We get Quixotic. That's actually a good one. Yeah, if you're insane when you depart, get a survival and a strength token. Yeah, that's like one of the best disorders. And then other stuff. If the attack dealt damage more than once, it did. Full move the Gorm forward and perform grab. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this gets destroyed. Yeah. 5, 6. Darren comes along for the ride and gets knocked down and suffers 1 more damage. To the hands. I mean, Amelia, you've been around long enough to know that a concussion is honestly probably a best result in this game. Unfortunately, that means we're not going to get a whole lot of damage in this round. It might. Does anybody have survival? Blaze has 1 survival. Don't think it's worth standing up Darren. So I would need Dimitri to get a wound and Darren to get 2 wounds. That's not super likely. Let's start off with Dimitri and see what happens, though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's just step up to here. Yep, Dimitri did not accomplish much of anything. So we'll just get everybody else into position. 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. And we will headband. Well, we only have these 2 left. Body check. Yeah, body check is definitely... Well, okay, yeah. We actually can't choose because technically this card doesn't reach the AI pile until it's time to shuffle. But at least we know what's coming. And body check is fine. Yeah, we're okay with that. But I will stop Blaze here then, so she doesn't get run over if it targets Hilda. All right, so we know body check, random survivor in range, which is anybody. It will be Hilda, so glad I made that choice. 3, 4. So this will hit on a 3, which it does. 1 damage to her body. That's fine. Bash and knockback 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. But that means Darren can stand up. Blaze. Get into the flank. Right. That is 1 hit. To the maw. That should be fine. Yeah, that's fine. Looking for a 5. Got it. Nice. So we will pick up flip, shuffle, and draw. So now we'll do the full automation on this one. Blah. So that didn't hit anybody. Nice. And now Darren can get into attack range. Amelia, I hate to break it to you. It's not just covered in vomit. It's covered in piss as well. 2 hits. Yeah, there we go. It was only a matter of time. Full move the Gorm towards the attacker. If the monster ends movement adjacent to the attacker, the Gorm headbutts them with its enormous skull as its lure dances frantically atop its head. Attacker suffers 1 damage to the head location. Turn the monster to face the most survivors. Each survivor in the monster's facing is knocked down and suffers 1 brain damage. So full move toward means he just runs through him, right? I think so. That would be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Archive that. So he will be knocked down, but no other negative effects. And then turn to face the most survivors, which is everybody. Each survivor the monster's facing is knocked down. Holy shit. And suffers 1 brain damage. So that's brain trauma on Hilda, Darren, and Dimitri. Oh. Is this the table? Nope, it's this way. All right, Hilda. Flee. You are knocked down and suffer knockback equal to your movement towards the closest board edge. There actually was no damage, so that's a good thing. So it only deals damage if it ended its movement next to the attacker, which it didn't. It actually ran him over. So what was this? Knocked back equal to your movement towards the closest board edge. That would be this one. Oh my goodness. She does get some insanity out of it, though. She gets 1 whole insanity. Darren with an 8 gets lunacy, a random disorder, and insanity. So he gets 4 insanity. That's nice. And another disorder. Vestiphobia. Cannot wear armor at the body location. That's unfortunate. If you're wearing armor at the body location when you gain this disorder, don't worry it. He's not. Okay. Darren, I don't think you're going to be coming out too many more times, bud. And then finally, we get Dimitri with a 7, also lunacy. So he will get 1 whole insanity. And a disorder. He gets Hoarder. That sucks. Hoarder this early in the campaign is brutal. But everybody survived. Let's focus on the positive. We were so close. Everybody's knocked down, so that's about it for this turn. All that's left is body check. So that will be anybody except for Hilda. Well, that's Hilda. It will be Dimitri. So that's okay. So I'll just go there. Yeah, that's probably best. So this will hit on a 3. Yep. 1 damage to his body. That brings him to a heavy wound. Not like that matters right now. And knockback 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He would be knocked down, but since he started the monster's turn knocked down, he'll stand up at the end of the monster's turn. All right, Darren, if you were ever going to do something, now sounds like a great time. Hit. Wound. Darren, look at you. All right, Blaze, finish it off. Actually, yeah, finish it off. Or don't, you know, whatever you prefer. Dimitri, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just move him over here. Nope, nope, only 1. Nope. And then Hilda, do your best. All right, well, we're down to basic action. Closest threat facing in range, that's going to be Dimitri. I think that's our best move. Two hits. Body and hands. Okay. So that's 2 severe injuries for Dimitri. Oh boy. Let's start off with the hands. All right. Die of shock. Your vision fades along with the sight of your mangled, armless torso. Honestly, I'm okay with that because Dimitri had Hoarder. I value the resources a little more than I do a person right about now. Actually, he still has his reroll, so we would be stupid because we have survival of the fittest, so we might as well use it. 8. Spiral fracture. Your arm twists unnaturally. Gain -2 strength tokens and skip the next hunt. Gain 1 bleeding token. Okay. -2 strength. I won't really worry about the tokens right now because we still got to do his body roll. Now he's dead. The blow sends a bone fragment directly into your heart, killing you instantly. It was just meant to be, apparently. Goodbye, my friend. Can we please kill this thing now? Yeah. Blaze. 1 hit. That's not going to matter. Well, actually, it might. It's not going to matter if I roll a 5 or higher. I did it. The Gorm has been defeated. Holy crap. Okay, so altogether, not bad for a Lantern Year 1 hunt. We had almost no armor going into it. Don't think there's too much I could have done better. Like, the first turn went a little poorly, but other than that, I think I did okay. But all right, let's get some XP out here. So Blaze and Hilda get to age up. So they both gain a weapon proficiency. I don't think Hilda got anything done with the sword, but I know Blaze did. So we'll give her sword proficiency. Sword. We'll probably change that, so it doesn't really matter, because we don't really have any good swords coming up anytime soon. But yeah, just for now, we'll roll with that. And they get to roll. So starting off with Blaze. She gets a 12. Random fighting art. Most common result. She gets... Ooh, this is one of the Gorm fighting arts. Mammoth hunting. Gain +1 strength when attacking from adjacent spaces outside the monsters facing in blind. So she gets +1 strength anytime she's in the flank. Nice. And Hilda with a 4. +1 permanent strength. Alrighty. So we got some survivors here. Hilda might start training in Fist and Tooth now. We'll see. We'll see. Because we don't want to be attacking in the blind spot against the Gorm. So she's going to have accuracy issues. So we'll probably have her use Fist and Tooth until she gets the proficiency point and then switch to a secondary weapon. But that's for later. There we go. Showdown Gorm. That's done. That's done. All right. The first time the Gorm is defeated, add the Gormery and the Gorm Commist. Oh, goodness. To the settlement locations. So Gorm has a lot of stuff going on. And we will get into the details of these in a bit. Actually, I'll put the Gorm Chemist over here. Okay. Also, if they have not innovated it yet, the settlement gains the Negredo innovation. So the Gorm has a lot of special innovations as well. So with Negredo, we get a +1 to our survival limit, which is nice. And then we could do some stuff that we're probably never going to do. And then we get 4 basics and 4 Gormies. So we've got a question mark, a hide, and a hide. Excellent. That's awesome. And I need to go grab my Gorm resources. That's the wrong one. There we go. All right, got a Jiggling Lard. Acid Gland, that's a good one. Stout Heart, that I think is also a good one. And a meaty... Okay, we got some good stuff. Okay. Additionally, since we had Posturing Piss in play, we get ammonia for free. So we are on the innovation train. So ammonia is huge. 1, we get +1 survival when departing, and now like we're already online for leather. We're not ready for leather yet. Once we get there, nice. So I need my ammonia consequences. That's nice because we're not innovating this year because I don't think we got any bones, or at least any useful bones, where I wasn't even paying attention. Drums, inner lantern, lantern oven, inner lantern. Lantern oven. Bloodletting. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right. So basically 2 free innovations, Lantern Year 1. Excellent. And that should be it. Yes. So we get 3 innovations for our returning survivors. And then we update our timeline. So we get to draw a random settlement event. This is the scariest part of the game. I hate it every time. Elder Council. All right, I think that's all right. The elders of the settlement, the elders of the settlement that just started, gather to reminisce over the hard-won scars. Count the total number of hunt XP among all survivors. Add the bonuses and consult the table. I think that's literally 5. 6, because Marco has one. All returning survivors gain +1 understanding. All right, not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, Dimitri, you're not returning. Get out of here. All right, I will absolutely take that. However, we also have Gorm Climate. So, like I said, Gorm is an awesome fight, has a lot of positives to it as far as gear is concerned. The trade-off is this. Oh, actually, it's in my deck. It's not in the book. Because you can also randomly draw it. Oh, no, come on. There it is. So, Gorm Climate. The returning survivors find the settlement tormented by relentless foul weather. Add Gorm Climate to the next Lantern Year and roll a d10. So yeah, Gorm Climate just kind of keeps happening for a while. Roll a d10. 3. Jagged pellets of sizzling hail rain from the sky, corroding anything they touch when they land. All resources in the settlement storage are lost. You may avoid this by dismantling an innovation. Return it to the innovation deck to create a protective barrier. So, for most of this campaign, we're going to try our hardest not to have stuff sitting around in the storage. Right now, all we have is a scrap, which, you know, we can easily lose a scrap. But we have a cool little thing here where we can also choose to just get rid of Negredo, because the next time we fight the Gorm, we're just going to get Negredo again. So that might be. So the only thing that Negredo really counts for right now is the Gormacryst, which actually, no, we can't do that this turn. Yeah, we're not going to be doing anything there this turn. So, yeah, I think we just do the Negredo trick. I mean, the scrap isn't useful, but it's still a free resource, right? Let's just do that. I'm actually just going to leave that here. We're just going to get it again later. I don't like that alignment, though. Come on. Oh, you know what I can do? I can just leave it right there. Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. It goes into the deck because it's possible to get 2 Gorm climates in a year now. Just the way it is. Right, that's all for our timeline. Yes, yes. So next up, update our death count. We did have our first death, which means we get to choose our death principle. I am also an idiot. I forgot to actually roll on the survival of the fittest table. I think it's too late to actually do anything about that now. Where the heck is it? Principle, new life. Yeah, I should have rolled on this table. I forgot. Well, let's see what we would have rolled, huh? Because that actually might still be valuable. Would have rolled a 6. The child is raised as a pure warrior, leaving compassion and fear behind. The newborn survivor gains +2 courage and the tough fighting art and 1 random disorder. Okay, so we actually will do that. So one of these unnamed children, what is it? I've already forgotten. 2 courage, tough, and a disorder. Okay. Glad I remembered that. Why didn't anybody remind me for that? Huh? Where were the reminders for that one? Tough. You're telling me. When rolling on the sphere injury table, unless you roll a 1, add +1 to the result. That's nice. And a random disorder. We got Squeamish. You cannot depart with any stinky gear in your gear grid. If a status or effect would cause you to become stinky, you lose all your... That's fine. We don't have the frog dog in this campaign, so I think we'll be more or less okay with that. Okay, now we get to do death. So we're going to do Graves, because Graves is the only choice. All new survivors gain +1 understanding, and then going forward, when somebody dies in the showdown, we gain 2 endeavors. That does not count for poor Dimitri, though. But Dimitri is the one who taught us how to dig graves. Did we roll on a table for that, though? Let me not forget that one. With an 8. Nominate a survivor with tears in their eyes. The survivor takes a shard of rock from the grave and marks themselves with it. They cherish this mark forever. The survivor gains +1 permanent luck. +1 permanent luck. Do we just give it to a new person? I think we give it to a new person. Or do we give it... We give it to Hilda. Since she's going to be our fist and tooth person now. Like, I think we're locked in on that. So now she'll be critting on an 8. I'll take that. I'm just going to write that in right now. I think that's the way to go. Okay. Now we get to develop. So we've got all kinds of goodies. We also have 3 endeavors. I don't think we really have anything good to do with those endeavors, though. Like stone noses. Do we maybe go for some augury? We don't really have applies for innovating. Because we're using most of this stuff this lantern year. So let's start with that, right? We're just going to use these 3 hides to finish off our rawhide set. So we need boots, gloves, whoops, yeah, and pants. So there's that. Now we got some Gorm stuff. Let me go grab that deck. Gorm gear. Fat deck, because the Gorm has all kinds of gear. All right, so I know we got some special stuff here. Rib Blade is a good choice. The Stout Heart, like, it has a use, just not right now. Like, we can use it for the special innovate, but it requires, or no, that's the brain, not the heart. Never mind. The heart. It's used for the Gorn, but it also needs 3 bones, so that's not great. We didn't get any stout hide, so can't make any of the armor just yet. So I think Rib Blade is a good play. Acid Tooth Dagger is good, but I don't have the bones. Do I want to hold on to the organ? Okay, can we actually innovate this year? This is an organ hide. This is an organ. This is an organ. Might just innovate this year. So we don't have great options. Like, Rib Blade is a great weapon. We're absolutely making the Rib Blade. I would like to make a Knuckle Shield, but we don't have any of that stuff. Gax is good, but again, like, just didn't get those resources. Riot Mace is great, but that's later. Pulse Lantern, the Gorn is nice, but again, 3 bones. Armor Spikes are nice, but yeah, we just didn't. The Gorn makes great stuff. We just kind of didn't get anything that we need for it. So we're definitely using the Meaty Rib. And I don't think it's worth holding on to any of these right now. So Innovate might be the play. No, I can't innovate. Because I need to use one of these for a hide. If I use this for a hide, I won't have a bone. If I use this for a hide, yeah, okay, never mind. So we can't innovate. All right, so do we just hold on to this stuff then? With Gorm Climate, that's... We can use the Negredo trick to ignore Gorm Climate. Oh, or we can chuck 2 organs. Well, we already did the Negredo thing. All right, so we'll retcon it a bit. Yeah, we'll chuck 2 of those into here and see what happens. So we'll keep the Negredo, and we'll get rid of that scrap. I think that's better. We might get more resources out of it. Um, so let's just use these right now. Yeah, whatever. So I want that rib blade. Let's just... So take a look at this. One speed, that's slow, which is fine. Like, we can work with that. Hits on a 6, strength 5, and it crits on a 9. Heck yeah. Yeah, so let's just use these two to roll a d10 and see what happens. Because healing potion actually wouldn't be bad. 8. We got a healing potion. I think that's in here. Yep. So at the end of the showdown, if you suffered any permanent injuries, you may archive this card to remove one of your choice. And it has a nice red affinity, so that's not bad. So Jiggling Lard, we'll go ahead and archive you. Ding. And that actually doesn't even cost an innovation, which is nice. Oh, okay. So you get 1d10 by default, and then you get to add a second. So we will retcon the retcon. All right. Yeah, because I was actually shooting to see if I could get another resource out of it. Wisdom Potion would be nice, but we can work towards that next year, I think. That's fine. Is what it is. Let's not dwell on it. So do we shared experience? No. Because nobody can get Darren up to 2. I guess we just do Augury for our innovations. Yep. I think it's our best bet. Or do I think I'll make 2 more stone noses, right? Oh, probably should have made monster grease. Yeah, I should have made monster grease. I forgot about that. Okay, so retconning the retcon to the retcon. We're going to get rid of this. Where did it go? There it is. So instead of spending the 2 organs on that, we're getting a monster grease. That is the much smarter choice. And still going to get those last 2 stone noses. All right, that was a journey. So that's 2 innovations. So yeah, the third innovation, I think we just put an XP on this new person. Yeah, we'll have... Yeah, we will use shared experience. Nominated survivor has 2 or more hunt XP than yourself. Blaze has 2. They describe the illuminating details of their desired death. If you are not deaf, gain +1 hunt XP. So that means after the next hunt, we're going to bring whoever this is. They'll be replacing Dimitri, and they'll level up at the end of the hunt. Okay, wow, that was a journey. That was a mental journey to get through all that. But there we go. Man. Yeah, so I think we want to work on a second rawhide before we start going too hard into this. Like, the Gorm suit is cool, don't get me wrong. I think having a second rawhide suit is better. Because this thing takes so many resources. It's nice because it's only a 4-piece set. So it's still a total of 10 resources. But we need to start getting hides. Let's just start with that. Once we start getting the stout hides, we can start making those decisions. Knuckle shield would be great. Gax would be nice. Probably should save that jiggling lard. All right. Well, I'm not going that far back. Goodness, because the greater Gax is honestly even better than the Gax. We already had the jiggling large. So that was a misplay on my part. Was it? Because what did we archive? We archived the jiggling lard. We're good. Oh, I am not dumb. All right. So yeah, dense bone. We get the greater Gax, and that thing is a beast. Let's take a quick look at it before we sign off. So this is our goal for the next fight. This beastly weapon. And there's something really fun we can do once we get this weapon, but I'm not going to tell you just yet. Oh, that's the regular Gax. That thing's fine. But it's not the greater Gax. I was like, wait a minute, that's not that beastly. That is the one. All right, so that's our goal for next stream. We're just going to be fighting Gorms. Like, that's all we got. So we also got to check off this one. So yeah, we got a Gorm, and then we got a Butcher coming up. So that's going to be our next stream. One more Gorm and a Butcher. Butcher shouldn't be too much of a problem. So other thing to keep in mind. Okay, so we don't have to worry about Twilight Sword, because we'll get 3, at most 4 innovations next year. Doubt we're going to innovate after the Butcher. So yeah, just got to remember that so I don't mess up one of my good survivors. Nope, no TPK. All good on the success front. Yeah, so just gonna be fighting some fights. Happy to have like finally a full armor set, and I'm excited to see the rib blade get to work. So now also we might want to start looking into a lucky charm. That would go nice here. But yeah, lots of cool stuff to work towards. Lots of resources to figure out. Like, again, the Gorm crafting location is so cool, but it's kind of overwhelming because it's so good. Like, when you're dealing with the White Lion, you're like, I don't care about the armor. I care about like 2 or 3 of the weapons, and nothing else really matters. But when you're dealing with the Gorm, it's like, it's all good. Like, there's nothing here that's bad. Except maybe the pulse lantern. So it's a little overwhelming. But that's going to wrap us up here. Darby, send us out. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Darby's excited. He's ready to see a Gorm. Actually, not going to be next week, now that I think of it. Next week is going to be July 4th. I will not be streaming that night. I don't think we really have any plans. But with all the noise going on, the pets get a little frazzled, so just kind of want to have a chill night at home while that's happening. So we will not have a stream next week. We will be back the following week, fingers crossed, as if all goes according to plan, on the 11th. So thank you, everybody, very much for watching. As always, you can find the VODs over on the YouTube channel. Usually get them up by the end of the weekend. And for those of you watching on YouTube, if you would like to see these streams live, link is down in the description, where we are live almost every Friday.